All right, just a few more seconds, guys. All right, here we go. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the newest episode of the 2021 NFL Mock Draft Live. My name is Juan Rodriguez. I am your host. People usually call me JR, Junior, Juan. Doesn't matter. We all get along here. So, as always, I want to thank everybody that tunes in. I want to thank everybody that leaves me comments, good or bad. I always can appreciate the help, and I always love hearing different point of views, and I also love everybody tuning in today, tuning in for the rest of the show. So I want to thank everybody that has done that, shown their support. Please like, share, subscribe, everything to get so we can all grow together. And it's going to be a lot of fun when we get as bigger as we intend to, and hopefully some good news coming our way here pretty soon. But that'll be down the road. So let's just get right into it. It is a Saturday night. Everybody's kind of busy. Everybody's having fun. So obviously, not a lot of people are going to be probably tuning in tonight, which is okay by me. It's Saturday night. Go enjoy yourselves. But I'm going to talk about the Cardinals before this night is over. They are the next team on the clock. So let's get to it. So the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock. Their season, the Arizona Cardinals, they had a very interesting take. So first, before even the draft started for them, they did a trade with the Houston Texans that the Cardinals got DeAndre Hopkins in Arizona for a second and a fourth. That's what they had to give up. Oh, and they were also to dump David Johnson to the Texans, so the Texans have to eat the David Johnson contract, and Arizona receives DeAndre Hopkins. That was the trade. Houston is a mess. Houston, it's going to take a very strong individual to fix the team for all purposes. It's going to be a very strong general manager and head coach to kind of fix Houston, but Houston's not the team today. It is the Arizona Cardinals. So they got DeAndre Hopkins. This is a second run for Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray, and everything was just going right for him. Starting with that DeAndre Hopkins trade, and then heading into the draft, they had a solid draft. It was very impressive to see what Arizona got. So here we go. Let's recap their 2020 draft class. So the first one, Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, Clemson. No need to go into it. He was if there was a word for it, pretty much the superstar of the combine. Great 40, great vertical, great everything. Just the star of the show at the combine. He was the combine performer. He was the combine warrior, and it is showing that he's going to be a problem down the road. In the beginning, it was looking kind of rough. Was he more athlete than football player, or what was it? But down the stretch of the end of the season for Arizona, he started to play his position very well. So I'm expecting a big jump from him year two. Remember, they didn't have a second because of the whole DeAndre Hopkins trade. So they went into the third round, and they got Josh Jones, the offensive tackle out of Houston. So this guy had first round aspirations heading into last year's draft. Everything was going good. So what happened to him was him falling into the third, whether it was character issues, bad interviews, or terrible pro day and combine performances, he fell to the third, and it's still a good player to have. You don't have to start him right away, and it's a good player to have, kind of stash as your depth for when it is time to start him. He can pretty much start anywhere, tackle or guard. So I thought that was a great pickup in the third round. They had two fourth rounders. Liki Futu, the defensive tackle out of Utah, and Rashard Lawrence, defensive tackle out of LSU. So LSU had a lot of names last year heading into the draft, rounds 1 through 7. And it was because of that legendary 2020 Tigers team. It started off with Joe Burrow, and it just kept going more and more there. So They just needed help with the departure of Calais Campbell now. That's been hitting them for quite a while. It was just they're still trying to find that Calais Campbell replacement. Obviously, that's not a very easy thing to do because Calais Campbell is a one of a kind athlete. But if you could try to get some productivity out of it, then it's okay. So we'll see what happens to them in year two. They were both mostly rotational guys to see who can separate themselves from the pack. I think with a year in the system and now with training camp preseason to go back as to normal, I expect this to be a very heavy camp battle. So that's going to be interesting to watch. Sixth round, Evan Weaver, the linebacker out of California. Now, this was a guy who had second to third round potential. Then we just kind of started hearing, I guess, Senior Bowl didn't really work out that well. Combine got even worse. I guess it was just the interviews. And he just started slipping as time went on. But nevertheless, not a bad player to take a chance on when he was highly graded in the beginning, kind of had a little bit of a slip up. Not a bad guy to take a chance on. So we'll see what happens with it, but I don't expect him to be a starter anytime soon. But for depth purposes, it's a great pickup. And then last but not least, they found their third string running back and Eno Benjamin, running back out of Arizona. He had some hot flashes. He had some really good flashes as a third string running back, third down, third string, whatever you want to call it. He had some really good opportunities, and he did the most with it. So I expect his role to increase next year. Now that Kenyon Drake is gone, Chase Edmonds is going to be the starter, so he's only going to get pushed up the depth chart. So, as I mentioned, they traded with DeAndre Hopkins. The season started, and they looked good. I mean, for the first part of the season, the Arizona Cardinals looked as good as you can imagine. Then injuries kind of got them, kind of derailed them a bit. They had that one cool play, the Kyler Murray, Hail Mary type of play, and it was cool to see. That was probably one of the best moments of the season last year. And it's just the thing is, when you're in a division with the Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Rams, and even the banged up 49ers, it's pretty hard to win in that division. And injuries do you no favors either. So they went 8-8. Huge improvement year two. It is good to see. You always, as a Cardinal fan, I'm sure that's the hope that year three it all comes together, and now they can probably A, win the division, or B, hit the wild card spot. So I think that's the goal for the Cardinals this year. I think they're a team that this year they need to get into the playoffs to kind of show everybody that Cliff Kingsbury was not a mistake to take as a head coach. And overall, their team is very well balanced. 13 on offense, 12 on defense. So it's a very well balanced team. They got all the pieces you want. They got Kyler Murray, who I think is a very, very good quarterback. DeAndre Hopkins, one of the best, if not the best wide receiver in the game today. Now, Chase Edmonds, it's to be determined to see how it goes. The offensive line is going to get better. They're kind of missing that tight end, but I think if they could put it all together offensively and defensively, they're only going to get better, especially now with the new additions on the defense, which we'll talk in a little bit. I think it's a no-brainer that the Arizona Cardinals, they can feel the heat from ownership and from fans everywhere and just regular football fans that the Arizona Cardinals have to be a team that hits the playoffs this year. They have to be in the playoffs because everything is right in front of them. All these other teams are getting older. They're doing new switches. They're the only ones that are going to be the consistent ones heading into next year in that division. So for me, it's a no-brainer. Arizona has to hit the playoffs next year. But 8-8, good record, good second year. Now let's see what they do year three with Murray, Kingsbury in the game. So moving to free agency, It depends on who you ask. It depends on what Cardinal fan you ask. It's either the worst free agency that they've ever had, or it is the best free agency that they've ever had. It all depends on what Cardinal fan you're talking to. As I mentioned earlier, they did lose their top running back Kenyon Drake to Las Vegas, who is now going to be a 1-2 punch combo with Josh Jacobs and himself. So that's pretty good, especially in the AFC West. But we'll talk about that later. Patrick Peterson is the next corner or the next free agent of the longtime Cardinal. He is now a Minnesota Viking. That was a hurtful loss, but eventually business is business, and it had to be done. I'm sorry about the yawning, guys. Had a long day today, but Patrick Peterson, business is business. It happens. They both left on good terms. No hard feelings, and I'm sure they wish each other the best, but this is a business. Patrick Peterson had to find another job somewhere else, and he found a good spot, Minnesota. Hassan Reddick, a former first rounder of theirs who was finally catching on these last 2 years. They didn't want to tag him again, so they let him hit the market, and sure enough, he ends up going to Carolina, who is now Carolina is looking like a crazy sleeper for this year. So he's now he's on another 1-year prove-it deal. Dan Arnold. Now this is the one where I was kind of shocked that they let go. I thought for sure how Dan Arnold was kind of acting at the end of the year, catching fire. They were kind of bring him back on a 1-year friendly term deal, and if he did something amazing again, then they can talk long term. But I thought at the end of the season, I thought Dan Arnold was doing something amazing there. So, but he's now heading to Carolina. He's going to take his talents to Carolina, along with his teammate Hassan Reddick, and that's just another weapon for Sam Darnold, who is now the quarterback of the Carolina Panthers. So, kudos to Carolina. Terrible for the Arizona Cardinals. And lastly, Angelo Blackinson, the defensive end, he is now going to the Bears. The Bears did lose a lot of depth of this free agency, so they need to find replacements for him. This is the part where if you ask another Cardinal fan, this is the best free agency that they've ever had. Why? Because they added some names to this team that brings in veteranship, leadership, and knows how to win. J.J. Watt, long time Houston great, Houston Texan great, former defensive player of the year. Just the accolades go on and on and on. He is now heading to Arizona. Matt Prater, long time NFL kicker, is now coming to Arizona. AJ Green, the time was up for him in Cincinnati, and now he gets a fresh start. And the crazy thing about it is he does not have to have the pressure of being the number one guy. They already got one, DeAndre Hopkins. So he's going to take pressure away from him. I expect a huge bounce back year from AJ Green. Because remember, Larry Fitzgerald, he hasn't announced it yet, but it's starting to look like it's over. And if it is, Larry Fitzgerald deserves all the round of applause and everything, because Larry Fitzgerald was one of a kind talent. And we'll see what happens. And we're going to wait for his decision. But if he decides to hang him up, what a ride. What a ride. And it was a fun ride. And he's going to be remembered one of the best wide receivers to ever play the game, and probably one of the better hands to ever play the game. So we'll see. We'll wait for the announcement, but it's not looking good. As I mentioned, AJ Green's coming in, and with Christian Kirk, DeAndre Hopkins, AJ Green, they're just kind of missing a tight end, but we'll see. Good wide receiver core. Those are three good names. So they lost Patrick Peterson, but they replaced him with Malcolm Butler, the corner out of Tennessee. Colt McCoy is now going to be the backup. Brian Winters, the guard out of Buffalo, is now coming to Arizona to kind of help with the offensive line and kind of get it better. And then Sean Williams, the safety out of Cincinnati. Great depth, great special teams ace. It all depends on who you ask. And there's two ways you can look at it. Two ways is they added a lot of good names. The other way to look at it is like, ooh, they added a lot of aging veterans. It all depends, because we see it all the time. Teams kind of sign the big names and they expect big results, and then you get something like the Philadelphia Eagles when they got Nambi, Vince Young, all those guys, and it fell flat on their faces. Or who knows? Maybe this is the team that gets all these guys and they turn around and they surprise the hell out of everybody. But all I know is it's going to be an interesting year for Arizona. It's going to be an interesting year to see how they develop their guys, to see who takes a big jump in year two, and to see if they can take that big leap into getting into the playoffs. They were very close. They just need a little bit more effort into it. And I do expect Arizona to head into the playoffs. I really do. So here we go. This is a very hard one. This was a very hard choice today because I didn't know what to expect. I don't know what to expect. Do you go defense again, even though it was already good? Do you go offensive lineman first round? Yeah, there's probably somebody worth 16, but at this point, I looked at the roster and I looked at the contract situations and everything. When you have Malcolm Butler, Byron Murphy staying there, is there, and he's backing up now. He's a good backup. Buda Baker is, one of the top safeties in the league. It's very hard to predict where these guys are going to go, but I looked at everything. And in that depth, there was a lot of one-year deals in the secondary. So for me, with the 16th pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select J.C. Horn, corner out of South Carolina. This kid is 6'1", 205 pounds. He started as a freshman. He left early. He actually took a flyer on his senior year to come out his junior year. So it was pretty interesting to see what the process was. But, we get it. When you're a junior and you already have first round grades, there's some kids don't know their financial situation. I don't know what their situation is. But if you're a junior and most of the times when you do already have first round grades, you don't want to risk that. You just want to ride the hot streak, strike while the iron's hot, and take your pick and then just hope for the best. Because if you're already getting first round grades as a junior, just strike while the iron's hot and take the risk. Now, this is sort of an interesting one. He's not a lot of people are looking at him as the same way as Patrick Surtain or Caleb Farley, but people should. People should. The way I see J.C. Horn right now is I think his pro comparison is a very old good corner named Eric Allen. Now, Eric Allen was a true veteran of his craft. He wasn't always the biggest name. He wasn't always the top guy, but his skill set reminds me of Eric Allen or another veteran out there, Lito Shepherd. Good veteran, nice size, good weight, and they have the exact same style. 2018, his freshman year, 45 tackles, 8 pass deflections, 2 sacks. 2019, 40 tackles, 9 pass deflections, 1 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. In the 2020, 16 tackles, 6 pass deflections, 2 interceptions. He opted out early because the head coach of South Carolina did get let go, and so he just said, I'm out. But it's very weird to hear these guys talk about, well, he played in South Carolina. We really don't know much about him. He doesn't have the interceptions. When you're a good corner, when you're a very good corner, it's very rare you're going to get the interceptions. I mean, very rare. They weren't saying that about Patrick Surtain, but he was playing for Alabama. They weren't saying the same thing about some of these other guys, but they were playing for certain teams. This dude is a cornerback. He is going to be a solid corner in the NFL. And, the one knock on him people always mention is, well, who did he cover? Who is this kid and who did he cover? Does he have any big game experience? Okay. I actually looked it up, and he does. He has some very good game day experience. Let's see here. A.J. Brown, he's now with the Titans. Kyle Pitts, top 10 pick this year. Devontae Smith, Heisman. Jalen Waddle, first round pick this year. Jerry Jeudy, 10th overall with the Denver Broncos last year. Henry Ruggs, 12th overall with the Raiders last year. Elijah Moore, possibly a future first rounder this year. Terrence Marshall, possibly a first rounder this year. Damian Brown, he's a underclassman and he's going to look like a good player heading out next year. Justin Ross, same thing. Corner Powell, same thing. Josh Palmer, same thing. Trevin Grimes, same thing. Van Jefferson, he's now with the Rams. Tyree Cleveland, same thing. Seth Williams, same thing. So what am I trying to say? This dude wants the challenge. He wants the top guys in every school. He wants the number one because he wants to prove to himself that he can cover anybody. And looking at the names, A.J. Brown, shifty. Kyle Pitts, huge. Devontae Smith, route running. Jalen Waddle, speed. Jerry Jeudy, just he wants all these different receivers because he wants to work on his craft. And I think he did an excellent job in covering almost every single one of these guys. Yeah, Kyle Pitts kind of got him, but who didn't get beat up by Kyle Pitts? That dude is a top 10 guy. All I'm saying is Jace Horn, I think, will fit the Arizona Cardinals and what they're trying to do. Especially now that they got pass rushers, he's going to fit in right in. Yeah, I know. Malcolm Brown's going to be there. Brian Murphy's going to be there. But you put him in right now, he doesn't have to start right away. You can give him a 1-year flyer, let him work on his craft, and then just watch him. Watch him grow into being a good corner in the NFL. So for me and my money, I'm going to go J.C. Horn corner out of South Carolina with the Arizona Cardinals. And it's hard because, yeah, they could probably take a lineman. Maybe they go tight end. I don't think they would. Maybe they go running back. Possibility. But I just think right now with all the contracts in that secondary, especially the majority of them being 1-year deals left, I think they should take a flyer on this kid and see how they develop him. I think this is a good opportunity for anybody like Arizona to take a chance on him. And I got to go J.C. Horn here for Arizona. So that's my pick. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Comment it, like it, love it, hate it. Just tell me straight up. I am not here to get offended. I just want to know the criticism. If there is criticism, I can handle it. Not a big deal. Overall, that is my show today. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank everybody that has always tuned in. We are halfway through season 2. Tomorrow, second half of the season starts, and it's going to be a fun one. I got my brother joining me. As you know, we always did the Silver and Bro show every Tuesday after every Raider game. It's a lot of fun. I cannot wait to see what he thinks the Raiders are going to do, which player he's looking at. We're going to talk about everything, the 2020 draft class, how the season went, free agency, and who his predictions on the show on who he thinks the Raiders should take or they would take. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys tune in tomorrow for that one. Other than that, you guys have a beautiful Saturday. Enjoy. I hope you're enjoying it with your loved ones, your family, everything. Tell them you love them because tomorrow's not a guarantee. And other than that, I'm going to see my brother tomorrow. I'm going to keep, updating it. And like I said, it's going to be fun, exciting, and I cannot wait. It's always good to talk football with my brothers. So other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. We will see you guys tomorrow. Take care. Have a good night. Enjoy those baseball games. Everybody stay safe in Los Angeles for opening weekend. And everybody just be safe out there. Be smart about it. Be smart about it. Don't drink and drive. Don't do any of that stuff. Just be smart about your weekend. Remember, it might not look like it now, but somebody's always waiting for you to be in one piece. So love your loved ones, love your neighbors, all that good stuff. We will see you guys tomorrow with my brother for the Raiders. It's kind of weird that I'm wearing a Raiders shirt right now, but that's just the way it works out. So tomorrow we will talk nothing but Raider football. So take care, have fun, and be safe, everybody.